Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome to my channel. I'm glad that you're here. Welcome. I am Val. This is Vibrations with Val. I am sound therapist, singer. I'm, doing sound therapy with my voice and also channeling. So you can check out all of those things in my channel. But today, I am doing one of those pretty spontaneous videos where I'm talking about things that I channel through my guides about myself and about my life, and how do we apply all of that knowledge into our day-to-day basis. So right now, the message that came to me today was that we have to start thinking more about spirit collectively. So more about our spirit part and more about the unconditional support, love, and the unconditional power that we have, that is coming from spirit, that is coming from ourselves as spirit, and that is coming from our connection to source. Because we really have to start embodying the power that we have in order to be able to experience the power that we have. So we have to believe it and act like it's there in order for us to see it then. So it's not see to believe, but it's believe to see, which Bashar has said a bunch of times if you have been listening to their transmissions. And then another thing that came to me was we have to stop preparing for the worst case scenario, because we have been doing that enough. And Spirit has been saying to me that that's enough negativity, and that we have to stop fearing being positive or expecting good things or expecting our power to work, actually, our energetical power and our wish power, because there is enough fear in the collective. There is enough understanding of I cannot do anything, I'm just a tiny little human, or somebody's manipulating me, they have control over us, and all those kinds of stuff. Embodying the power within us is, and not with this rebellion fight mode, but really embodying the power within us as I am that because I choose to, or I live in that reality because I choose to. This is what is going to actually elevate us into the reality where we are that, and where we do have the power, and where we actually do live that way. In Bulgaria, because I'm Bulgarian, and we have that very, very interesting saying that I'm going to share right now, and it's called prepare yourself for the winter. You prepare yourself for the winter, and if summer comes, then that's just a bonus. That's okay. But you prepare yourself for winter. You get your coat, you get your hat, your gloves, you build around the house so you shield yourself and all of that. And if summer comes and you don't know and you don't need all those things, okay, then go away. And that's great. And that has served us for so many years on that evolutionary path that we've been on as humans. This way of thinking has been serving us because that's the way that we survived. And I understand it, and I truly acknowledge what it has done for us. But right now, if we really want to get out of this survival mode, we will have to embody a different way of thinking. And we will really have to dig deep within our mindset and within our beliefs. And not only beliefs, but day-to-day acts and ways of perceiving things in order for us to be able to shift collectively. And stop preparing for the worst case scenario is something that hit me very hard, because I'm doing that all the time. And we are all doing that all the time. Although that there are different extents of that, as for example, a woman that I have been talking about, a woman that I have been talking with a few months ago, and she said to me, well, I have been listening to this teacher, spiritual teacher, and another, and this and that, and I really do truly believe that we are going to shift this planet, and we're going to make this revolution, and we're going to go into another reality, but I am sure that we're going to have to go through big crisis in order to get there. We're probably going to go 5 to 10 years in complete darkness. We're going to be almost raped, and only just a really small amount of us will come on the other side. And it's not that there isn't a parallel reality where this is true. Always there is. But do you really want to experience that? Would you really like to go through that painful process? And not only for the collective change, but for any change. People believe that in order to get to spirit, they will have to do the connection with spirit, to be conscious. They will have to go through so much courses and so much meditations, and they're going to be meditating for hours and hours, years. And then in order for them to receive a download in like 5 to 10 years. And people really do believe that. I myself have those kinds of thinking in a very different way, but I still catch myself having them. For example, I am driving on the road and I'm seeing a child right next to the road, and they're just coming out of the car, and the mother is not looking at him at the moment. And my first thought, instinct, and the way that I perceive the situation is how this child is going to accidentally run right in the middle of the road, and I or somebody else is going to hit him. And I'm literally having that vision before my eyes just when I see the boy. On the other hand, I could have a very different approach where I see this cute little boy being full of light, being full of guidance, being full of his own intuition, because he is connected to spirit as he is little, and he knows where he has to go. And there is no need for a child to do such things. So he's not going to do it. He's not going to go there in the middle of the road. And also, there are angels and guides that are protecting him. And also, his mother is an amazing woman, and he's going to take care of this child. This is the thinking that I would have if I was in the position of I'm living in a good reality and everything is fine and everything is just amazing. Everybody's connected to spirit, everything is good. And we can trust the universe. On the other hand, I am having this kind of a thought because I am connected to this fearful consciousness where something could happen any moment. We have to be not really, it's not the word conscious, because we have to be like on our nails, you know, all the time. And we don't have to. We don't have to. If we have to die, we can die any moment, out of the blue. You know, anything could happen. Eyes could fall on your head. So we have to change this perception of prepare yourself for the worst, because expectations are probably, they're not going to come through all of the time, because we also have, you know, conscious thinking. And even if we do have expectations that are worst case scenario, then we have conscious thinking that says, okay, calm down, it's okay, probably it could not be that way, it could be differently. And thank God, in physical reality, things are not happening as quickly as we imagine them, or as quickly as we think about them, because if they did, humanity is thinking so negatively that so much more negative things than are happening right now on the planet are going to happen, would be happening if we were creating instantaneously. And Spirit has been saying to me that a lot of times, because people are thinking very, very negatively. Our default way of thinking is that something is going to go bad. We're going to suffer in a way. We are going to have to go through a big challenge in order to get on the other side. We're going to lose big time before we get something, and all of that. And that's encoded within us for, you know, hundreds of years. And that's okay. We all have that. But we can, and we have the power to transform. And how do we do that? Well, if we think more about spirit, and if we think about more ourselves as a spirit, if we think more about how much love and how much unconditional support do we have from spirit, when we think about that piece of us which is constantly, always, all the time, eternally connected to source, that piece of us which is creator of our reality, that piece of us which is pure consciousness, the living substance of the whole multiverse, that piece of us, if we think about that piece of us more on regularly, then we're going to become more empowered to understand our own power. And then the moment we understand our own power, we will be able to believe in our own power and to feel our own power more. And then it's going to show up in the world. How powerful actually are we? Because we are so powerful. But there is so much fear encoded into this power that we are actually not using it. And I'm going to give you another example. Something that happened just this week. And I was literally super surprised. At the same time, I really, really felt burst of fear coming into me. And then my guides calmed me down and, gave me some clear thought about the situation. But I'm going to explain the situation and then you're going to understand. So basically what happens, we are going to go with me and my fiance, and his parents are going to go on a trip. And this trip, it's an organized trip where there's this agency that is organizing the trip and everything. And we are departing in 2 weeks time. Okay, but there was this couple that is friends of his parents, of my fiance's parents, and this is a couple of two people that are, we don't necessarily like them that much, and I didn't want to be with these people 8 days full time, because this trip is 8 days, and we would be together 24/7 basically. And they invited themselves on the trip. Like, they just said, we're going to come with you, and nobody said anything about it. But I didn't feel okay with that. I was like, well, this is not my free will. I don't want them to be there. I did not agree on a trip with them. I agreed on a trip with his parents, with my fiance's parents and us and his brother. But we are the family, and what's going on? And I let it go. But then I said, very, very concrete, I don't want them to come. I don't want them to come. I don't want them to be on this trip. I don't know what you're going to do, and I don't know what is going to happen. If they are on the trip, that's okay. I'm going to handle it, of course. It's not a big deal, that big of a deal, but I don't want them to come because they're, heavy energy and whatever it is. But I said, I would not like them to be in my reality, and I don't want them to come. That was it. I just said it very clearly. I stated it out. And then, what happened just a few days ago was that they're calling and they're saying, well, we have been in the mountain, and the man, who is, very adventurous type of guy, he was skiing, but without any equipment, like without anything, just with the skis and on and nothing else, because he believed that he's so, he can do everything. So he was skiing and he fell and he broke bones, like a few bones in his body. And that was shocking to me. The moment that I heard about it, I was like, wow. And the first thing that came to my mind was, I did this. I'm guilty of doing this. And I was so ashamed of myself because I felt like, well, I did this. I made him break those bones. But then I closed my eyes. I went into a state of, relaxation, meditation. And my guys were like, no, 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 no. You just asked. And you believed that he's not going to be on this trip with you, because I really, truly believed that, I don't know what's going to happen, but something is going to happen and they're not going to be with us. Because I didn't feel like it. I knew that it wasn't going to be a great experience. And they said to me, you just asked and you truly believed that this is not going to happen in your reality. They're not going to come. And then billions of variations of things could happen to stop them from coming. But this happened because a series of vibrational states that this person has been in caused him to go to that moment. And it's not me. It's everything that he was doing. I believe that he was cheating on his wife. There are a bunch of different things that I know, but whatever it is, he really liked to show off all the time. So then when he was showing off again, being, skiing in the mountain without any equipment, when I mean like any equipment, he was with his jeans on, then the universe just gave him the lesson of stop, stop, that's enough. And that was not somebody, that was not karma, that was his own spirit trying to say, come on, man, come on, really, why are you still doing that? And they made me understand that there are billions of realities, infinite numbers of realities, and he could have gone on any path, but he went on this one path, and this is on in my reality. And they said there are other versions, of course, where nothing happens and they're just going with you on the trip. And then there are different versions when they don't go on the trip, but something different happens. Like they go on another trip or something, their car broke or whatever. The extent of the thing that is happening is always, it's on the person. But for me, the lesson was to see how powerful am I, to see how powerful we all are when we say something that we want it to be that way in our reality. Because it's only me that is experiencing my reality. Nobody else is experiencing my reality. And they said to me, there are a bunch of different realities where he never broke his bones. But then my reality is the reality where I wished for something to happen and I let go of control and I say, whatever happened, happens. And so, how exactly does it happen? It's on the person, and it's not my fault. No. They said, you have to stop believing that it's your fault. And if you want to have to embody your power as a conscious being connected to source, being that is able to choose and consciously create its own reality, then you have to have this responsibility of, well, yeah, such things might happen. And that's fine. You can understand them, work with them. And they said to me, it's okay. You didn't do anything bad. And I still felt like I did a little bit. But the thing is that we are denying our own power. And for example, because of this situation, I could stop manifesting anything for months. I could do that because I could feel like I am doing something bad for other people or whatever. I don't know. But being creators of our reality, this is what it means. This is what it means. And the thing is, actually, what Spirit said to me, it was that actually, when you do, because everything in the world is a reflection, when you do create from your heart, and when you do believe in the power of Spirit and your higher self and your soul, then you are enabling others in your reality to embody their spirit and their powers more. So, not only that comes in the good way, where people are starting to follow their passion more, which is happening also to me, like a bunch of friends around me and my mother and everybody, they start, chasing their dreams and fulfilling their passion and doing whatever they are really, really talented to do because of the inspiration that they get or the energetic, push that they get. But also, when there are people in your reality that are denying their spirit, that are acting like they're so separate from their spirit, and they're not hearing anything spirit wants to tell them, then when you do follow your spirit, you are actually empowering them to hear their spirit, or you are empowering their spirit to come through more clearly. And this is exactly what happened with this one person, because he's a good man within his heart, but he has done a bunch of pretty like shitty things in the physical reality, just because he somehow believes that he's just this ego. He's so materialistic, and he believes that he's this ego and that there is no guidance, there's nothing there, whatever. But now when spirit gives him this lesson, well, man, calm down, stop showing off, stop being this, ego driven man, because you can break bones. And this is what matters in life and all of that stuff. So in a way, me believing in my spirit has enabled his spirit to come through more clearly, although it has been through pain. And what they wanted me to talk about not expecting the worst case scenario, is that it doesn't have to be that way. It doesn't have to be through pain. If we do believe that it can be in a different way, then it can be in a different way. We are empowered to choose that version. But we have to first believe that we have that power, and then we have to listen. Because in order for things to not go so bad, then we have to listen when they're still not bad. We have to connect and try to see the lessons and understand them and feel them within ourselves, just because we are our spirit. And not wait till the moment where something bad will happen, something critical will happen, a crisis will come upon us. Not wait until this time. We need to stop waiting. We really have to stop waiting. And enough bad things, enough bad negative thinking, and enough bad expectations and everything in our reality. That's enough. People are thinking negatively, and in order for us to change the plane that we do exist on, we have to shift that and stop searching for what's wrong. It's okay, and it's all just the way that it needs to be. And we all have that connection, and we all have unconditional love and support. Whatever we want to do, we're going to be supported, and we're going to be loved. Sometimes lessons are going to come upon us, but it comes from love. Again, it comes from understanding that we are actually more than what we thought. Same example with me as this person that I'm talking about. Same example with me happened just 1 week ago, when I was so convinced that I have to do all of those things in our website, as I truly don't like doing websites. But I was like so convinced that I have to do this website, that I have to work on it, that I have to go through that, pain of of working on the website that I got stuck, and I got so stuck that I almost made a critical mistake that could, stop our finances and everything. And Spirit gave me this lesson because they wanted me to know that, well, no, you don't have to do those things. You have to do what you're good at. You have to do what you believe in. You have to do what you like, what are truly your strongest sides. You have to follow your passion. And if you keep fighting that, well, no, I have to control that. No, I have to do it. Then just the system is going to break. In order for you to understand that it's okay. And sometimes it looks bad, but it's actually great. It's very, very good. When something like this happens, when a machine breaks, when your phone shuts down, when a program shuts down, when whatever you're working on is like something is going wrong, then you just have to switch. You have to do something else. And think about what you would like to do, what you would really, really like to do, what you have been constantly procrastinating on, for example. And why? Why? Because you believe that you have to do something else. Why? Thank you so much for listening to this video. Thank you so much for being here. And I hope that it has been helpful in a way. And I'll see you next week. Bye.